So my name is Victor Huang, and I am the Executive Director for the Summit.
And I'm Mark Newberg. I'm the Deputy Director for the Summit. And I'm figuring out where I'm supposed to stand on the stage at the moment.
And we're really grateful to have you here. It means so much to have people who've traveled so far from so many different corners of the world, so many walks of life to be here today. One of the things that I wanted to share with you is some of the comments I've been getting from people as they've been showing up here at the Summit. And it's been very humbling because a lot of people have said they've traveled so far. They've had to fight weather, they had to fight airports, they've invested a lot of their time and their own resources into being here. And it kind of raises this question, which is why? Why are we here? What is this mission? What is this yearning that brought all of us here today? And so I wanted to kind of talk about that just a little bit as we get started here. The reason we're all here, I think, is because we are all architects of the invisible. We're all people that sense something a little different. We sense that there's something happening in the world. There's a way of creating value which is unknown, which is hard to get our hands on, but we know it's there, and we're trying really hard to get our arms around it. And so this idea of how we architect, how we design, how we build the invisible infrastructure of our communities is really this deep question, and it drives a lot of us to do this work together.
And, I think you know that intuitively. Whatever it is you're doing, wherever it is you're doing it, we all sort of believe that whatever it is, there's a way to do it better, more quickly, more effectively, more efficiently, for more people together. And that's kind of a thread that brings this room together from, I haven't calculated how many hundreds of thousands of miles people have traveled. And it's really pretty special. And you might be able to tell I'm from the East Coast, so I'm going to loosen up now.
This really is the greatest gathering of ecosystem builders ever assembled here in this room today. And that's a pretty cool thing. So give yourselves a round of applause. And I think the sense that we build ecosystems and that we have a lot to learn from each other leads us to this conclusion that perhaps if we created a community in which to do this, in which to share and build from one another, that we can actually do a lot of good, that we can uplift the human condition, that we can improve human welfare. And by coming together, we can put ourselves in a position to do this.
I don't think there's a whole lot more to add to that, except that you're here, we're all here, we're here to design real solutions to real problems. I said this to some of you earlier today. I'll say it again and I'll repeat it. The work you're going to do at those tables where you're seated, it doesn't stay here. It goes out there, and it changes lives, and it transforms communities. And that's important to remember. Everybody in this room is a doer, and that's why we're here. So thank you.
There are three things that we want you to take away from this conference. One is we want you to see a new way to see. So as we think about how we build ecosystems, how we design these communities, how we foster sustainable systemic innovation, we'll give you new perspectives, not just from us, but from each other. Secondly, we want you to learn practical ways to do this. So when you get back to work, how do you take this back out into the world? So it's not just a conference where people feel really good and talk a lot, but they actually can translate that into action. And third, each other. Being able to benefit from the ideas, the sharings, the spirit, that makes a big difference. I was talking to our good friend Kathy Swain earlier, and she said she came here because she wanted to be part of this. This recharged her, right? This is a place for doing this hard work to give us a recharge of the batteries. This is very hard to build these communities because you're several steps removed from the actual product itself. It oftentimes feels like people don't appreciate the difficulty of this work. And it's very hard to know when you're making progress. And so coming here is a way for us to say, we all get it, we're all in this together, and we can all build together from here.
And if you want proof that it works, somehow Victor and I became friends in the process of doing this, and I haven't quite figured out how that happened. But what's going to come out of this room, I think, is a whole bunch of friendships, a whole bunch of relationships, and a whole bunch of solutions that really can make a difference.
Just to give you a quick arc of the next few days. So today, we're going to have some great subject matter content. We're going to talk about a brief overview of how ecosystems work. And then we're going to bring on some people to speak about this. And then you've noticed you've been placed into these groups. And some of you may be familiar with this, some of you maybe not. But this is basically your team. This is your house. This is your community for the next couple days. Doesn't mean you're not going to talk to anybody else. You're going to have lots of chances to talk with other people. But this is your startup company. And you will have to work on real things, real problems, real solutions, real challenges, real innovations, real projects. And we're going to take you through a process facilitated by the person at your table, the dean. The dean is like the facilitator and the moderator. And they're going to take you through a few sessions where by the end of this conference, we are going to have designed 40 to 50 to 60 real ecosystem prototypes to tackle real problems that real people are working on today. So this is going to be very exciting. At the end, we're going to have a contest. We will actually let you vote on the winners of this contest, but we're not telling you what the categories are until the end. So that way you're not building this to win a prize, you're building this to actually design a solution for a real problem.
And, you know, it may seem like something you haven't tried before. It may seem unusual at first, but the idea of teamwork is at the core of everything that we're going to do. So give it a shot. Really commit yourself to it. And I've said it now twice, I'll say it a third time. These are real solutions. What happens over the next 3 days is really going to change the course of some communities. And that's a really special thing to have happen here in Silicon Valley.